Howdy Magic here, Hline conversions, e-charger systems. Today we're back on the H2 Hummer, the beautiful yellow one. We can't wait to get driving this thing. We've taken a little extra time, of course, to shoot the video and play with all the new parts from PPE, the big turbo and downpipe, and all the performance mods and add-ons that we've added to this vehicle. But today is step 3, I believe, of the H2 Hummer Duramax swap or Duramax conversion. We're doing this, of course, to teach everybody how to do their own Duramax conversion. Hline offers the Duramax conversion in-house, or we offer a kit, that comes without the motor, or if you want the motor as well, we can supply the motor too. So whatever you need, we can give it to you. Anyways, today we want to talk about getting the body back on the frame. I was thinking step 2, I talked about maybe skipping this, but I second thought it, and a lot of people really, to me, I have a handicap because I've been around this and doing it, I invented it, or it's been invented by us, by me, by somebody. So I don't see things the same way. So I was told that, I need to show how to put the body on there and the things that you need to check to make sure are in place before you put the body on there to save you some time. So first thing, of course, back to the exhaust system. Make sure you have your exhaust on before. Can you put your exhaust on later? Yeah, but it's going to suck. You're going to be laying upside down trying to get stuff in place. And of course, we like to weld our exhaust in. You can clamp it. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But we just tend to want to weld it. So it's easier for us to build it in place. Secondly is get your drive shafts in. Front drive shaft, rear drive shaft. Very simple. The front uses the factory original drive shaft. You don't have to do anything with that. The rear drive shaft, however, we have that custom made. We do offer that drive shaft for sale individually or in the kit, or you can have someone make your drive shaft. So the other thing is, of course, the fuel tank. We talked extensively about that. Make sure that you're done with your fuel tank. You got all your vents hooked up and your little T's in there like we talked about, your main vents in place. You got your fuel lines and stuff like this. And yes, yesterday you probably saw stainless braided and all that kind of stuff. This is a special one. This is all about real performance and stuff. So we're using a higher quality line. This is a Parker Vapor push lock style Viton line. It's got a high suction resistance ratio compared to other lines. So this is our choice for this. But if you buy it from us in the kit, you're going to get the stainless braided type thing. Is not necessarily, or I guess it probably will be pre-cut with ends on there if I can get somebody to put those ends on for me. Nobody likes to do that, of course. It draws blood pretty easy. But anyways, you got your lines in, got your drive shafts in, got your exhaust in. Your engine, of course, is bolted down. You got your transmission mount bolted down. Double check everything. I always like to go, and when I tighten it, actually mark it. That way, if I'm concerned if I tighten that or not, I can go back and look at it and say, aha, I marked it, it's tight for sure. So just a little indication. Tie up your wiring harness. You'll notice this harness, I run it up high above the shifter here. It does cross over. Once we get the body on there, this will cross over back into the main harness. For now, I just leave it floating down there like this. I don't get excited about tying a bunch of stuff up that probably might be in the wrong position. I'll have to set underneath the vehicle, untie it. So leave that kind of stuff loose for now. And I think that, yeah, I can't think of anything that we need to do other than what we've already done. At some time we did have a checklist that told you exactly what you need to do before you do things, but of course, that's gone off the window this time. So looks great. Let's go ahead and see if we can get some people. We're gonna go ahead and push this dude in place and get the body on there. Who's driving? Or who's watching the harness? I'm on the side of the harness. We money? Okay, right in there. Straight down?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Coolio. Okay, so we've got it where we think it should be, and pretty much it's going to be really close to where it needs to be. But I want to talk about something. The AC dryer which is located up here. This is a good time to go ahead and change that. You can change it once you get the body down, but you're going to have to change that because the clocking on the H2 for the gas motor is different than the clocking of the one that you need. And of course we supply that, or you can have that little cut and welded or whatever to get that clocking change and get the right hoses and fittings. But it's easy to change right now, and of course it sucks after the body's on, but you know, we've already changed that one, so we're good. Okay, let's take it down. Now this is the point where you want to have a few people kind of spotting, watching, making sure everything's going good. You notice I'm holding the brake caliper or master cylinder over a little bit, and you know, we're just guiding the, Tony's over there guiding the shifter lever linkage down and everything, so it helps to have a few extra hands. That way you don't have to get so excited about running back and forth to lift every 2 inches going down to make sure everything's good. We're good on the front. Let's go ahead and stop and move that shifter cable over on the side of the transmission there. Tony, or somebody, I got it. Camera guy.
Can we just drop it down?
It is.
Okay.
You know, flip it on the outside of that drive shaft so it don't get all weird going down. Just get it completely, there you go. Now it's happening. Okay. Well, it'll be a tight one. Come on down. See, watch our alignment in the back, Tony. Yeah, just rock it wherever you think it needs to go, Tony.
Ready?
Okay, we're going to stop right there. Okay, there's one thing that we forgot to do, believe it or not. And these H2 Hummers, they have a hood release latch for the hood in the center here. They have a 10 millimeter, 12-inch extension, and the battery ratchet. This we're going to go ahead and pop off because it gets all up in this big turbo, and of course, you know, it's something that you can modify to put on there. Honestly, we never hardly put them on. I've watched these things being broke into. I mean, they just undo the hood or undo the hood straps and crack the hood. It's made out of fiberglass. It's wondering why I couldn't see anything, so I got my glasses on. Now that little dude's out of the way, let's go ahead and set this body down.
Clear?
Woohoo! So there you go, that's it. I mean, takes a few, what's that? Just couldn't you roll? Okay, just lift up on your, so it doesn't roll right. There you go. Okay, so body's on at this point. You can go in and put your 12 body bolts on. You can plug in your rear harness. You can do your fuel filler neck mod. Get your fuel filler neck up in there. Get your splash shield back on there. Get your shifter linkage hooked up. When you do the shifter linkage, make sure that the shifter is in park. And then take the lever that we supply, or you modified your lever, that can now spin 360. It's not D-cut anymore. You're changing the clocking, basically, what you're doing. But take that, lock it on there, and you'll run that all the way, let's see, clockwise, until it stops. And at the point where you can't do it anymore, you should be able to pull it up, and once it ratchet back, that's park. If you're unsure if you're in park or whatever, take and try to roll the vehicle. If it doesn't roll, it's in park. So once the shifter's in park and the transmission's in park, then you go ahead and pop your shifter cable on, and then hook your shifter cable to the shifter lever on the side of the transmission, which looks like this. I'm going to grab one right here. Well, the shifter lever is the lever hanging on the side of the transmission. You'll snap that onto the cable, and then tighten the jam nut. And then that locks everything in park, and then you can pull it through and make sure it's good at a later time. But that should get you set. Next step, of course, go back and reconnect everything that you disconnected when you took the body off. Connect your Hydro Boost. Put your master cylinder back on there. Take and get your e-brake cable back connected to the vehicle. Do your steering shaft. Remember we talked about the steering wheel being tied up and everything. At this point, with the tires straight, the steering wheel hasn't moved. It should just line up and slide together. You know, tighten the 15mm bolt on that. And let's see, what else can you do before we get into the cooling side of this? I think that's pretty much all that you need to do at this point. You know, we'll get into the other things in the next steps or whatever. So, to reiterate everything that we've done, you know, basically we made sure we got our exhaust system in place, got our drive shafts in place, got our fuel tank mod, and got our shifter bracket, our transmission shifter bracket on, made sure the engine's bolted down, made sure the transmission's bolted down. We did go ahead and run our transmission lines, just so, because we don't like to crawl underneath the vehicle, but you know, if you forget it, it's not the end of the world, you can put those on later. We ran our fuel lines up to the motor and stuff like that, made our connection, which the 1/2 inch, which is the big one, you know, goes to the big port on the side of the motor. The smaller one is the 3/8, which goes to the smaller port where it's the return line. Very self-explanatory when we get to that point. Okay, so in a nutshell, we're stage 3 or step 3 of the ultimate, what I call the ultimate Duramax conversion swap for the H2 Hummer. This thing is like white knuckle, smile in your face, best thing in the world to drive. Mid-20s on fuel economy. It's great. So at this point in time, we're wrapped up. Next session is going to be probably the lower radiator support, cooling, fans, stuff like that. We'll shoot that for you. Then we'll get into the wiring side of the vehicle, and maybe 2 or 3 more steps from now, and we'll be driving this thing. Johnny Magic here at eCharger Systems. Thank you.